I'm Bill Fischer, and this is an I-See-U Universal Design tutorial. I'm going to demonstrate how you can use two readily available digital tools to ensure that your art and design will be ADA compliant and look great for persons with color blindness as well as light sensitivity. The first tool is the free web-based WebAIM contrast checker. The second tool is Photoshop's built-in proof setup previewing tools. I'm going to use the Google logo. As you can see, here I'm in Photoshop and I have two versions of the Google logo. The bottom is the original and the top is one that I have adjusted. First, I'd like to talk about the Photoshop's built-in proof setup previewing tool. You can find that here in the View menu under Proof Setup. You can see that right now I'm proofing this image as a working CMYK. That's showing us what this Google would look like if it was printed with the standard 4-color printing process. If I change this to Internet Standard RGB, you're going to see some dramatic shifts in the blue. And here we go. See how those got quite a bit brighter? So the Google logo as it stands, as it's currently designed, is not very printable. I'm going to correct this blue so that I know that it will look the same when I print it, say on a package. I'm going to use my selection tool, choose this blue color, then I'm going to replace that color with a color that I know will probably not shift when I do a CMYK proof. Click OK, edit fill, foreground color. Now if I go to the View, Proof Setup, and I switch to working CMYK, take a look at that bottom G and you'll see it probably won't shift. But there is another way that I can ensure this is a printable color by clicking on the color swatch, and over here, oh, it has an exclamation point. Maybe I need to adjust that just a little bit. That exclamation point is telling me that that was not actually quite a printable color. This one is. I was very close. I'll copy that, select that blue, edit, fill, foreground color. And this time I can be quite certain that I have it. It appears that this yellow against the white may have a contrast issue. So I'm going to check that by selecting this color and getting its color number. So I just copied that. I'm going to open up this great free tool by WebAIM called the Contrast Checker. And what I can do is check to make sure that background color is white. And over here I can paste in that color number and see if it meets the WCAG AA or AAA contrast requirements. These are set by the Americans with Disabilities Act for large text and graphical objects and user interface components. Let's see if we can correct this failure back in Photoshop. I'm going to select that yellow, go to Image, Adjustments, Hue and Sat, and I'm going to darken that, saturate it as far as it will go. You can see it just kind of turns brown. That's not colorful. This is supposed to be a colorful logo, so I'm going to have to try something different. Let's change the color to purple. That's a color that I think will hold up for a red-green colorblind person and will give me a better contrast situation. You can see I don't have an exclamation point, so it's going to print well. And let's fill this. Let's check this color for contrast. I'm going to copy that color number, open up my contrast checker and paste it in. And look at that. I do now pass for large text and graphical objects and user interface components. There is another reason that I decided to go with purple here instead of a dark yellow, and that is the arrangement of the color itself. If I look back at the original and I go to View, Proof Setup, Deuteranopia, I can see what a colorblind person sees. This is the most common form of color blindness, red-green colorblind. You can see that this color combination seems a little bit chaotic. By changing this to a purple, it makes it match the blues for the G's pretty well and gives it a little bit more organized appearance. As long as we're proofing, let's check the CMYK. You can see here that I've got a little bit dimmer red so that holds up. The blues will hold up, and I believe this purple will also not shift. When I go to RGB, you can see that this shifted and this stayed the same. Now I would like to take a look at this green L. I'm going to check it out with the colorblind filter. You can see it gets quite dull. I think what I would like to do is see if I can make it a little bit more colorful for red-green colorblind persons. What I'm going to do is select this L, and I'm going to open Adjustments, Hue and Saturation, and I'm going to push that color a little bit towards the yellow. And I should be able to see it brighten up. Okay, so I'm going to find a sweet spot there. I think that's probably a little bit too saturated to be a printable color. So I'm going to set this down a little bit and maybe lighten it up a little bit to make it a little colorful. Okay, so I made that adjustment while I was still in the red-green colorblind colorproof mode. That way I could see its effect while I'm adjusting for a colorblind person. Now if I go to the RGB proof, I can see that I've got a pretty good color. Now I need to check two more things with this color green. First is to ensure that it is printable, and indeed I do not have an exclamation mark over here, so I am within the CMYK color gamut. I'm also going to make sure that it has enough contrast. I pasted this color number in here and you can see that it fails. It needs to be a little bit darker. So I can adjust this lever until it passes. 3:1, contrast is the minimum. I'll take this color number, copy it, paste it in here. I still have no exclamation mark, so I'm CMYK safe. And I can now fill this with that new adjusted color. Let's review the tools that we use to make these color adjustments today. First, image adjustments, hue and saturation. This allows us to adjust hues, lightness, and saturation. We used the proof setup for color blindness and for CMYK and for RGB. I also used the WebAIM web-based contrast checker to ensure that I was getting at least 3:1 contrast ratio for each of the colors. Using these tools, I can ensure that persons of all color and vision abilities can not only access, but have a quality experience with the media I create. I can also ensure consistent color between print and digital delivery systems. This is Bill Fischer. Thanks for watching.